good morning for another Morning Coffee with Marcaida. And for today's thought, it's all about lasting impressions that you leave behind. In my martial art journey, I've learned from so many different teachers, and every one of them I've always learned something, the good and the bad. There's always something to be learned. When I had chance to even learn from teachers who actually, in the initial phase, wanted to be such a badass. Doug, I want to train you a badass. You're going to be the toughest guy. You're going to be the best at what you do. And everybody else sucks because we're the best. So the lessons learned from that was, you're not really the best. You can strive to be the best of what you can be, but this is a gigantic world with so many people. How can you really be the best? And what happens is you develop and pass on a certain kind of attitude to your students that is almost like an elitist thing. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? All depends with how you leave that lasting impression. The impression I got was my teacher thought we were the best and we're the badass of the world. And that only made me bitter rather than better. Then you meet with other teachers that try to guide you in a better way, not so much in the skill, but to make you better as a person. And that was cool, because then when I left that group or going after class, I felt inspired because there was no animosity. There was no this thing of having to be, better than anybody, just better than myself. I guess the point here is you meet with so many different people and you do the best that you can do at world in your life. But what is the thing that you can leave behind? Now, you can leave behind by the good deeds that you do, the works that you do in the media, especially I'm doing the media. I can leave my thoughts, I can write or leave instructions. But one of the things that we can do is a lasting impression that you leave. How do people feel about you after their last experience with you? How do you make people feel when you're with them? And I think that's one of the things that we should always think about, especially with the people that matter to us, that when you leave, we take especially for granted those that we love or those that love us. What's a lasting impression that we leave behind them? How did we make them feel with the time that they spent with us? That's the important thing, because if you made them feel angry or sad or anything else, that's the last thing that you left with them. So when you're around, how do you want to be remembered? People won't remember your works and all these other things if the last impression they had with you was a negative one. So hopefully we learn from these things. What's a lasting impression? The last impression you left behind. Make it a good one. Doug Marcaida here, Morning Cup of Joe. Hopefully you enjoy that. I enjoyed it. I try to strive every day to make it better. Every day is always a new day to start and leave a good last impression. Take care.